To me, this is a really exciting opportunity once a year for all the residents to get together, all the board members to get together, all the key members of staff. I hope you will use the opportunity to actually, as John said, tell us what you think. This is the annual residents' conference. Once a year we get all of the residents together and discuss what matters most to them. It's a good opportunity for them to set the agenda and for us to actually respond to issues that are of importance to them. Also, the other objective for today is for me to actually set out the big picture. Some of the challenges that we as an organisation face, which are not unique to us, but those are the factors that affect most housing associations in the sector. And it's an opportunity for me to share those challenges with them, but also more to the point what we're doing to actually address those challenges. We've got a series of workshops based on issues that are of importance to the customers. There was a questionnaire that was sent out beforehand to all of our residents, and they've responded saying they want to discuss certain issues, and the workshops led by many of my colleagues will be based around those issues that they've responded on.
The session that I was involved with was maintenance, and there were queries about complaints, how are they handled, what is the communication like, what sort of problems are there, and notes that were taken for that. I felt that was very good.
What comes out over and over again is communications. I think what people feel is that we don't tell them enough about what we're planning to do, we don't communicate with them effectively to talk to them about the service specification and standards. When we come out and do the work, we don't necessarily follow up and check to see, for example, whether they were entirely satisfied with the nature of the work that we've done. And if they do ring up and complain, then sometimes there's all kinds of confusion about who to speak to and whether those messages are being picked up and dealt with. So I think there's a key issue here for us to address around communication and keeping a good record of what people have said and acting on it.
We book a repair of some description. They sometimes do, sometimes don't make an appointment. They send somebody out who typically turns up either not on the time that they've actually organised or out of the blue, and then they have to come back yet again, and even though you describe very well what the problem is, they never know what the problem is when they arrive, and always then have to go away back to their yard to pick up what it is that they need and come back again. So each time they make a repair, they've basically visited you 3 times before the repair is complete.
If we do appointments, we should turn up on the day and be able to fix the job. So what I'm also looking at, which I'd already started discussions about, was just raising a repair and making an appointment for somebody to turn up and just saying to the operative, you fix it, whatever needs to be done, you fix it.
I was running 2 different sessions actually, the first one being on neighbourhood management, young people and antisocial behaviour, and the second one being on communication with staff, welfare reform and rent.
I made a phone call yesterday to the Housing Association and spoke to somebody, and she didn't know the answer either, but she did get back to me and she said we can only keep £20 of the rent from a room. Well, that will barely cover the additional money I've got to find to pay my rent.
What makes a difference to all of us at the end of the day is what happens on our doorstep, what happens in our estates. So we want to make sure that even if we bring people together and look at things across the whole group, we also listen locally and enable you to change things locally.
If you actually listen to the customers, their perception of things like value for money is very different from ours, and it's very practical, it's very sort of day to day.
I would like to see a designated antisocial behaviour contact for each area, that you don't need to go through your housing officer, that you can be kept in the loop, and you know what's going on, and then you'll be free to say what you really think, because it isn't going to come back and bite you in the bum.
People want more clarity on what remedies are available for antisocial behaviour to enforce the tenancy conditions, but also what other statutory agencies can help with to manage antisocial behaviour.
Apart from the engagement with consumers, it's an opportunity to share ideas, exchange views, and to learn from them. To me, this is a marvellous opportunity to learn from consumers, because we have lots of consultation exercises, through written newsletters and feedback slips and so on and so forth. But really, you can't beat the personal contact that we have in a day like this.
It's been a wonderful exercise because I found out things I didn't know, and it's made me question and know some more questions to ask at the next meetings. So I'm going to be a pain in the butt.
How can we know whether we're providing the services that customers want without talking to them? And how can we demonstrate we are accountable for our services without having some means by which they tell us what they want and we then go and report back? And I hope we won't be leaving it a year before we report back. We should be demonstrating that we've listened to our customers and we're acting on what they've said to us, and we've prioritised what we do accordingly. They pay our salaries. I'm accountable to every single one of my tenants for what I do.
What is it that we as residents can do to contribute? Because I feel that to complain and do nothing is also not right. So that's important. How do you do that if you don't get to know how things work? How do you get into the inside of it a little bit?
We'll take account of all of the issues they've raised, the feedback we've had from the residents. We will develop them into some form of an action plan, and then we will report back to the Customer Council so that they will have an opportunity to shape that action plan going forward.
I've been involved now for over 5 years, in fact perhaps about 7 years, and right from the Managing Director, Chan, and that everybody listens to you. Your opinion is valued.